Hi there, my name is Paul. What I'm going to talk about here is about convictions or preferences versus convictions. And you know, when you've got a desire, you've got a dream, or you've got an ambition to do something, and you know, when sometimes those desires can be very, very strong in us, and thinking, right, this is the way that I want to go. I'm shooting down this road because I really want to better my life. So it may be that you want to start a business because you're fed up with the life that you've got and you want to improve it. Whatever it may be, you soon know whether that desire is either a preference or a conviction when you run into like an obstacle, or you may run into trouble down the road. That might be in the form maybe of a person who's, if you're around a group of people or a person who's quite negative and you're trying to move forward and they're always sort of pulling you back and saying, no, 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 you can't do that. And it's often other people's insecurity as to why they don't want you to sort of leave their group, as it were, because, once they see you start to improve, what does it say about them? And I think it's very important to know, because this is what tests how deep the desire is in your heart. For example, you can get two people going through exactly the same problem, and one will sort of fall flat on their face because they've hit a major obstacle, or what they consider to be a major obstacle. And then the other person actually rises to the challenge. They actually grow stronger from it. And this is where you know really what's on the inside of your heart, because if once you hit a problem and then you start to sort of negotiate on how important that dream is to you, so maybe you start to think, oh well, maybe this isn't worth fighting for, maybe it wasn't that important after all, maybe I'll just settle for where I am, then you know that it's a preference. That's when you know that the thing inside of you really is now, it's sort of getting a little bit shaky. Whereas if you know something on the inside of you and you've got that strong 100% conviction that sort of says, right, this isn't negotiable. So whatever problem you meet, whatever person you meet, you are focused and you are fixed in your mind and in your heart and in right inside in your resolve, in your character, that you're saying, no, I'm going forward with this no matter what comes my way. And that's when you know that when you meet the same problems that everybody else does, and we all do, we can't sort of escape that. It's not to sort of say that we're looking for problems, but it's a bit naive to say, oh, we're not going to encounter them, because what it does, we then learn to sort of manage that. We then learn to sort of navigate around the problems rather than sort of saying, oh, there's a problem, let me stop right here. And so what we do, so if we encounter a problem, so rather than say, all right, I might not be able to get over this, or maybe I can't go around it, or perhaps I can work out a different way of how to deal with it, that shows itself that the conviction is still there. But when there's a strong conviction, you're then looking for the problem. In actual fact, what it's doing, it's really showing you on the inside how strong that desire is. So that's the difference between a preference and a conviction. And the only thing that really shows it up to us, and if we want to be honest enough, really enough to admit it and say, it's when these problems come along. So what are your problems that you're facing? What are they doing to those desires on the inside? Are they getting you to compromise? Are they getting you to say, you know what, maybe this weren't that important after all? Because then normally what we've done, and I've done this myself, is sort of when I've given that up, I go on to something else, and when I run into another problem down the road, I start doing the same thing again. So we need to have a conviction that sort of says, I am following through with this no matter what. And that's important to know. But you can only know that conviction is when you run into a problem. So don't complain about the problem, just see what the problem is producing in you, and then you know the difference between whether you've got a preference or a conviction. Have a great day. See you later.